We're going to finish up with the R3 gutturals. As we discussed before, gutturals have issues with doubling, with schwas, both vocal and silent schwas, and they prefer A-class vowels. The three gutturals are the least troublesome because doubling is rarely an issue for a R3 guttural. And silent schwas, which usually we deal with for the R3 gutturals, are normal. And then finally, three gutturals do sometimes cause theme vowels to be A-class. Okay, so let's go and take a look at our examples. Our first exercise here, number 26, yivaka, yivaka. Immediately we see all the normal characteristics of a piel, the yod prefix with a vocal schwa, the patach, R1 vowel, and the doubled R2. And in this case, not much is different except that the theme vowel, normally for a piel, would be a tsere, and here it is a patach. But other than that, we have already been able to tell this is a piel before we even had to examine the theme vowel, based on the prefix and prefix vowel, the R1 vowel, and the doubling. So we have a piel imperfect, third masculine singular, of baka, which is to cleave, to split. This will be he will split, he will cleave. Normally three gutturals act normal when it comes to silent schwas. So notice here we have shalachnu, shalachnu. The silent schwa happily coexists with this guttural chet. That's pretty typical. The one exception is the perfect 2fs. And so, for instance, the cal perfect 2fs of katal is katalt. When we have an R3 guttural, that silent schwa turns into a patach, and so we get shama'at. So we have one interesting case. Normally, otherwise, that silent schwa just remains a silent schwa for other forms, but that perfect 2fs form, and that's true for all the stems, not just the cal. So here we have a cal perfect 2fs of shema, and the ending is the same, and the other vowels are the same. It's just this one R3 vowel is a little crazy. And so we have you heard. Okay, number 28. Here is a really pretty much normal hiphil. You've got the prefix Aleph, you've got the prefix vowel patach, and the silent schwa under R1. The theme vowel here is a hirik yod. The only difference is that you see this furtive patach being introduced because of the guttural. So we have asbiya rather than just asbi, we have asbiya. But in terms of parsing, we ignore the furtive patach. We have a hiphil imperfect, first common singular, and the idea there is I will satisfy. The root is sava. Now, number 29, the three guttural has no impact, and so this looks like a strong verb, and so we just have a cal imperative masculine plural of shema, the command hear or obey. Another interesting characteristic of three gutturals is that for these T-form feminine singular participles, like a segelet that has a guttural, these also take patachs with a segelet looking ending, rachat. So borachat, this is a cal because we detect the holum there as the R1 vowel. So we have cal active participle, feminine singular. These can be either absolute or construct. And then barach is to flee. There's our root. and one who flees, one feminine who flees. Number 31, livtoach. This is also very similar to a strong verb except for the furtive patach, and so we can parse this relatively straightforwardly here. Say cal infinitive construct plus a lamed prefix. The root is batach. This would be to trust. To trust. Let's take a look at the next one. I put a hint here. The prefix indicates the stem. The prefix vowel here is a patach, and we have a hey prefix. This normally indicates a hiphil, imperative, infinitive construct, infinitive absolute, something below the imperfects. Infinitive construct would have a theme vowel of hirik yod, where the imperative would normally have a tsere, theme vowel, and so would an infinitive absolute. But an infinitive absolute resists the pressure to change over to a patach, while an imperative will change its theme vowel to a patach. Thus we have an imperative here. And so we have a hiphil imperative, and that is a masculine singular of salach, and it is the command, be successful or make successful. Okay, number 33, we have shilach, and notice that we have the hirik and a doubled second letter, and this looks initially like a pal perfect. Notice that the theme vowel here normally would be etzere, but the guttural is turning it into a patach. Still a pal perfect 3ms of shalach, he sent. Number 34, we have tifatach, the tav prefix with the vocal schwa, the R1 patach, and the doubled second letter are telling us pal, and in this case the theme vowel is been turned to A class because of the R3 guttural, but we've already parsed it without reference to the theme vowel. So we have a pal imperfect 2ms or 3fs of patach, and in the pal that would be to untie or to let loose. So you or she untied. Number 35 here, we have tatzlichu. Tatzlichu. The presence of the guttural here doesn't really change anything. We can parse this like a strong verb and just take it as a hiphil imperfect second masculine plural, again of salach. You plural were successful, you made successful, also the hiphil can mean. Okay, number 36, batach. Batach. This is similar to one we saw before. We can't always be sure. Sometimes the infinitive construct also takes an A-class theme vowel, but oftentimes it resists the change, and we would see, for an infinitive construct, we would see betoach with a little furtive patach. So this looks to me to be vocal schwa and the patach before the R3 guttural to be a cal imperative masculine singular of batach, and that would be the command trust. Now we're going to look at some III-Alef verbs, the last four examples, and really they're not all that interesting. The Alef will quiesce, meaning it will not take, in this case, a silent schwa. Otherwise it looks very similar to a strong verb, matzati. We can eyeball that one. Notice that when the Alef quiesces, the vowel before it lengthens. But other than that, the perfect ending and our knowledge of the fact that that vowel did lengthen helps us to see that this is just a cal perfect 1cs of matzah, and that would just be I found. Our next example is yachati, yachati, and the hirik yod theme vowel is pretty dead giveaway that we're looking at a hiphil, but the yod with the patach confirms that. We have a hiphil imperfect 3ms. In this case, the final Aleph doesn't really change anything. And that, of course, is chata. That would be he will cause to sin. He will lead into sin. Okay, then 39, yikaneh. Yikaneh. Notice the yod with the vocal shua and the R1 patach and the doubled second letter are already telling us PAL. And in this case, the Aleph doesn't change the theme vowel anyway. We have a PAL imperfect, third masculine singular. He will be envious. He will be jealous. He will envy. Finally, limale. The lamed prefix pretty much gives it away as an infinitive construct. And the R1 vowel, patach, and the doubled second letter tell us that it's a PAL infinitive construct plus lamed preposition, to be full or to fill. Oh, and the root is male. Okay, so that is a look through the 1 gutturals, the 1 alephs, the 2 gutturals, the 3 gutturals, and the 3 alefs. So keep practicing, and eventually these things won't be quite as strange.